Now at 5, breaking news. A horse trapped in a dumpster and pulled to safety in Orange County.
CBS2 Orange County reporter Michelle Gilly is live in Huntington Beach with how in the world this happened and how the whole thing's unfolded. Michelle.
Well, you guys, we finally have an answer to that burning question. I'm at Golden West Stables here in Huntington Beach. Behind me there, the dumpster where this horse named Rodeo was stuck for 2.5 hours. The people here who board and ride horses tell me that Rodeo, an 18-year-old paint, got loose from the corral, ran over here near this stable. This is level ground. It may be hard to see. It stepped on top of the dumpster. The dumpster to the right here had a plastic lid on it. When the horse stepped onto that lid, it weighs about 1,200 pounds, the horse does. It crashed right through the plastic lid of the dumpster and got trapped inside of that dumpster. Initially, one of the legs of the horse, I'm told, was sticking out, but it wiggled its way back in, and then it was standing on all 4 legs inside of that dumpster. So then the question became what to do about this. The folks here dialed 911. They got the fire department out here, Huntington Beach Fire, as well as the Orange County Fire Authority's heavy rescue. For about a half hour or so, they discussed ways to perhaps get this horse out, and ultimately they decided to use a heavy animal harness. They strapped the harness around the belly of the horse, all the while Rodeo's owner was standing by him, holding on to him, talking to him, petting him, along with another horse owner. Meantime, a vet was nearby giving a sedative to the horse to calm him down. Let's hear now from one of those owners who was right there when this was all going on.
My mom's like, there's a horse in the dumpster, and my heart like stopped. I was so shocked. So then I just held the bag of hay and he ate, and I just calmed him down, talked him through it the whole time. And so until the owner came, and it was a lot better. So, yeah.
So ultimately what happened here was they had the horse now harnessed. It was being given the sedative. They decided, the officials, the firefighters, to get one of the groundskeepers here, Jesus Martinez. He got into a forklift. He brought the forklift right here up to the dumpster. They strapped the harness on to the forklift there and very, very slowly and gently lifted the horse out. Now, Rodeo, we're told, is doing just fine. He does have a few cuts on his legs as a result of all of this. He's now being seen by a vet, but this is most definitely one of those cases where everything ended just as it should have. Horse doing just fine tonight. That's the latest live here in Huntington Beach. I'm Michelle Gilly. Back to you.
Well, now from that feel-good story to this breaking news, a barricade situation in Sherman Oaks.
We have Stu Mundell. He's live in Sky 2 overhead. Stu.
Jeff, Pat, it's happening out here at the 4600 block of Burnett. It's a very residential neighborhood, and a lot of folks right now are kind of in lockdown, and actually some residents have been evacuated. All started with a call of shots being fired at the house we're showing you right there. When officers from LAPD arrived, that person refused to come out of the home. We understand there is a command post, and this neighborhood is completely locked down at this moment. At the command post, there is somebody talking. There are negotiators actually speaking to that person with the weapon. Right now, he refuses to come out, but he is armed. Live in Sky 2 over Sherman Oaks, I'm Stu Mundell. Back to you in the studio.
Stu, thank you. They are fired up on day 5 of the LA teacher strike. Thousands took over Grand Park as negotiators meet once again to see if they can make a deal, and they are still at City Hall.
Well, they were all over downtown, and they may keep at it over the weekend. CBS 2's Dave Lopez is live at district headquarters right now. Dave.
Yes, we hopscotch from City Hall over to district headquarters. We can tell you that they're still negotiating. They went till midnight last night, and it looks like it'll be another long night because just before we left to come over here, they were bringing in some dinner, so it looks like they're going to be staying for quite a while. We were here at district headquarters because the superintendent, Austin Buettner, called a news conference. He talked about the fact that he and the union leader, Alex Caputo-Pearl, met personally with the mayor at 6:45 this morning, and then that Buettner went inside to negotiations and was there for half the day, and he said he's he's willing to go back again all weekend long if necessary. There has been a lot of rancor, a lot of people upset, pointing fingers at different people, and most of those fingers have been pointing to the superintendent for all of this. I asked him just a little while ago, does he look at himself as maybe the villain in this?
I'm a public school kid. I'm here to try to make sure kids get the same great education I had. This isn't about the protagonists. This is about making sure that every student in our schools has a great educator in the classroom. That school is well supported, and that child has the same promise of public education that I did, that you did, and that many of us had. It's not about the protagonists. I think that shouldn't be about the protagonists. It should be about what we can do to deliver on the promise of a great public education for every student.
Union leaders got exactly what they wanted.
Fighting for justice! Fighting for justice!
Striking teachers, instead of being in their classrooms today, were in the streets outside City Hall. Spring Street steps, to be exact.
Fighting for our students!
Teachers, parents, students, all joining in as one. Shouldn't your kids be in school today?
They're not watching movies. They're out here learning about civil disobedience and union power.
Did you ever think you'd do this?
No, but here we are supporting our teachers.
Day 5 of the strike, and the teachers vowed not to let up. If you don't get a deal this weekend, you're not going to give up?
No, we're not going to give up. We won't give up.
I've been teaching 42 years, and I am 72 years old. Compton Avenue is my school, elementary.
And here you are on the street.
And here I am fighting for my students.
The crowd was enthusiastic, many carrying signs, making it clear how they felt about the situation. And union leaders have vowed not to shortchange them, no matter how long it takes.
If we don't get a contract, we'll be back again next week.
This enthusiastic rally officially ended at 12 o'clock, but some 30 minutes after that, it's now 12:30, you can see not everybody wanted to go home. Their enthusiasm, their resolve resonated in the halls of Sacramento.
We are here demanding the LA Unified School District negotiate fairly and explores every options that may be open to them to resolve this strike, and we want it done immediately.
It is against this backdrop that negotiations in the mayor's conference room are going on now and will more than likely continue through the weekend. The mayor said he is on standby to help in any way that he can, and the teachers say, let's get it done.
A fair contract! Do we want it now? What do we want? A fair contract! Do we want it now?
So the talks a couple of miles away at City Hall are still going on, and they figure to go well into the evening. Mr. Buettner said he's on call to go there whenever, and he'll be ready to go anytime this weekend. The union had nothing to say. It's almost like a gag order now because no one is saying anything about what's going on inside. We do know they're talking, and that has to be a good sign, doesn't it? Reporting live from district headquarters in downtown Los Angeles, I'm Dave Lopez, CBS2 News.
Yeah, maybe that's the way business will get done. Dave, thank you. After an intense week of heavy rain and dangerous driving conditions, things are getting back to normal in Malibu. Well, they're starting to because some roads are still closed in that area. CBS 2's Amy Johnson is live in Topanga tonight with an update for us. Amy.
Yeah, Jeff, the rain stopped and things are starting to dry up, but there is still a lot of cleanup to be done, including right here on Topanga Canyon Road and Malibu Canyon. Crews have been spending lots of time cleaning up all the rocks that fell during the height of the storm, and geologists are trying to figure out how to keep more rocks from falling. LA County firefighters used the power of water to clear up the destruction rainwater caused. Captured on cell phone at 1,000 gallons per minute, they were able to knock down loose rocks.
We brought out one of our ladder trucks for the reach, and we pumped that truck with a lot of pressure of water, and we were able to hydraulic and undermine the soil under some of those big boulders that we were concerned about to bring them down.
While they don't get this call often, they say they are willing to help when and where they can.
The public works geologists found some areas of concern that they wanted to bring some of the boulders down, so as the public, when they open up the road, they wouldn't be endangered by the rocks falling.
It was here on Malibu Canyon that a huge boulder fell late Wednesday and smashed the side of this Ford Taurus. The driver had a minor head injury. Topanga Canyon Boulevard was also hit hard by the recent storms. The rain-soaked hillside seemed to collapse beneath the weight of too much rain. Large rocks and debris still rest on the canyon road as crews work to clear it and discuss with geologists the best way to shore up the hillsides with wires and netting and make the roadway safe. At the bottom of the canyon roads on Pacific Coast Highway, crews continue to clear off the mud that slid down the fire-scarred hillsides. And it's important to mention that Decker Canyon, or Route 23, is open again, and Canaan is also open. But these roads, well, it's hard to say when they will reopen again. Crews are expected here throughout the weekend, clearing the rocks and debris. But we've heard from a couple of Caltrans workers that they could be open as early as Monday. Reporting live in Topanga, Amy Johnson, CBS 2 News.
Thank you, Amy. Breaking news now from Washington, D.C. A shocking denial today from the special counsel's office.
A just-released statement denies a report that former personal attorney Michael Cohen, personal attorney to the president, was told to lie under oath by Mr. Trump. CBS 2's Sharon Tate is here with more on that breaking information.
Yeah,
Sharon.
Jeff and Pat, indeed, this is a direct denial of that report, which was reported by BuzzFeed. When the BuzzFeed report came out last night, the White House quickly denied it, saying it's categorically false. And now special counsel Robert Mueller's team says that is the case. The report said special counsel Robert Mueller uncovered evidence the president personally instructed Cohen to lie to Congress. Two law enforcement sources said they uncovered the request through Trump Organization documents and multiple interviews with witnesses. A spokesman for the special counsel's office just issued this statement. Now it says BuzzFeed's description of specific statements to the special counsel's office and characterization of documents and testimony obtained by this office regarding Michael Cohen's congressional testimony are not accurate. Cohen is scheduled to testify before the House Oversight Committee on February 7th, and it will be public. Pat and Jeff, back to you.
Interesting.
Thanks, Sharon.
Developing news now, President Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un are planning a second summit that would be in late February. The announcement came after today's meeting between the president and North Korean negotiator Kim Yong-chol. Experts believe a second meeting is more important than the first. They hope the president walks away with a tangible agreement toward denuclearizing North Korea.
That has to be the basic minimum standard of the next summit. I mean, it can't be another meeting just to have a photograph and a nice feel-good summit.
We've had very good steps in good faith from the North Koreans in releasing the hostages and other moves, and so we're going to continue those conversations.
The White House says details of the second summit are going to be announced at a later time.
Well, developing news from Washington, President Trump says he will make a major announcement tomorrow about the southern border and government shutdown. With a partial shutdown in its 28th day, the administration is clamping down on all congressional travel. But there is new fallout from the president's decision to cancel House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's trip to visit U.S. troops in Afghanistan. The California Democrat accuses the president of irresponsible behavior.
You never give advance notice of going into a battle area. You just never do.
The president and the House Speaker remain at odds over funding for a border wall between the U.S. and Mexico.
An injured whale washes up on the shoreline. Beachgoers try to push it back out to sea. The rescue effort right along the Malibu coast.
Plus, car windows smashed, Trump graffiti sprayed on the pavement. The search tonight for vandals in North Hollywood.
A dramatic delivery during the height of the storm. A woman made it to a hospital parking lot, but didn't get much further than that.
Hey everybody, I'm Garth Kemp. Coming up, things are drying out for us, fortunately. Forecast on the way.